Hi there, Coach Sam from AYS. In today's video, I'm going to be starting off with a couple warm-ups. We're going to be doing G major 2 octaves, followed by D major 2 octaves, set to 112 beats per minute on a metronome. D major, shift, shift, The next thing I'd like to look at is Dragon Hunter, part Violin 1 by Richard Meyer. We're going to be looking first at measure 13. We're going to coordinate the breath marks right there. Okay, so if you look at measure 11, along with measure 13, we have this little apostrophe thing. We're going to call that a breath or retake mark. And basically what we're going to do there is on beat 3, we're going to lift our bow and reset it. Just do a tiny circle with it, set it so that we can play down bow again on the 4th beat. Let me go ahead and demonstrate that for you. So it's the same thing, measure 11 and 13. Let me do that for you. 1, 2, ready, and. You see what I did there? So I'm lifting the bow on beat 3. It's almost like you want to do a little circle with your bow. Okay? Next, we're going to be looking at the very next measure, measure 14. In that measure, we have all 8th notes right there. And one of the things we want to focus on is not rushing them. Rushing them just means you're getting ahead of the beat. So make sure you have a metronome to practice along to make sure that you're not getting ahead of the beat. One of the ways we can do that manually is by accenting every single beat. So if I were only to play the down beats, it would be 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you want to use the same amount of bow so that you don't rush either. I'm using maybe 2 or 3 inches of bow in the lower half. Another way that I like to practice not rushing and also practicing that brush stroke, basically putting space between 8th notes, is to divide everything into 8th notes. So subdivide it, but play it as well. So let me just demonstrate what I mean real quick. And again, we're putting space between those notes. It's like a balloon is attached to our bow and it's lifting it up and we're just brushing the string. Okay? Let me do that again. 1, 2, ready, and. Once more. And roll the stick away from you and feel the down beat. Feel each beat. Ready, and. Also, just be mindful in measures like 24. You have the same rhythm there, but the difference is that beats 2 and 4 have slurred 8th notes instead of separate. So instead of they're going to be. So those measures are wishy-washy. So right there, you want to make sure that you're not doing and then getting stuck at the tip. You want to make sure you're using an even amount of bow. So okay. The next section I'm going to go ahead and take a look at is measures 38 through 55. We're going to be looking at alternating between piano, forte, and piano while pizzicatoing. Also, we're going to go ahead and practice the intonation of our 4th finger A on D string. One of the ways that you can check for intonation on your 4th finger on the D string is to measure up, starting on D. Make sure F sharp is a whole step away. G is touching. And then A natural is a whole step. One of the ways you can check if it's in tune is by fingering up, also by matching it against open A string. So you can play them together as double stops. Just make sure that that's in tune. You need to stretch your hand, okay? We need to make sure that there's a big difference in the dynamics in this section. We're doing pizzicato, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do anything special. We still need to work. So what we're going to do in order to play this pizzicato piano is we're not really going to tug on the string. We're not going to wrap our finger around it. We're kind of just going to tap the left side of it, but like a reverse tap. You're not coming up from above and then tapping. It's more of your fingers already set and you're just lifting, okay? And if you need a little bit more traction, go ahead and wrap your finger around the side of the string, but you want to make a volume difference. So if you're doing piano, you're not wrapping your finger around as much. So you can go ahead and practice that with open D. If you can't hold your bow like this, that is best. That way you can be ready for the arco at measure 54, okay? But you can practice it on open D string with the rhythm. Do that piano. Now forte. It's more of a strumming motion right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and run through that section. Remember, you're going to be holding your bow because it doesn't tell us to do anything other than hold it in our hand, okay? Alrighty, and if you can't hold your bow and just lift your index finger to pluck, you can wrap your bow inside of your hand so it looks like that, and you have your index and thumb ready to play. The next finger goes on the edge. Alright, so let's start on the downbeat of 38. 1, 2, make sure that A is in tune as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Fourth finger A. Forte here. Set your finger each time. Back to piano, light tap. Rest. Rest. Okay, so right there. I'm going to pause the metronome for a second. Let's go ahead and practice that transition. You're going to be setting your bow in measure 54. You're going to be setting your bow on the string on beat 3. So it's going to be pick up to 54. 1, 2, 3. Rest, set. Okay. The next section I'd like to work on is the ending. Basically, the coda measures 57 until the end. What I want to go ahead and do is make sure that in measure 58, our quarter notes are separated. They're tenuto. They're not going to be wishy-washy, legato. They're not going to be... No, we want them to have a little bit of space in between them, so... So really brush the string with the stick rolled away from you. You should be able to get some nice, very dull or very light separation in between those. Okay, and then the next segment of bars I'd like to look at are 59 and 60. We have the same rhythm right there. We're going to be doing set, rest, set. So you can play that a couple times. I'm going to put the metronome on for that. 1, 2, ready, and rest, set, rest, set. You can go ahead and accent the first beat of 62 as well. Let's go ahead and play through the entire line. Measure 57 until the end. 1, 2, ready, and. Rest, set. Rest, set. Alrighty, well that concludes today's video. Happy practicing to you all and good luck.